I got saved in March of 2012. I can't forget that. Like, my whole life leading up to that point was so broken and so hopeless, I'd like to say. Struggle with depression, struggle with suicide, just trying to find my hope in the wrong places. And it's just crazy seeing myself now, just how much hope there is. A friend called me up, been trying to get me to go to church for about like a month or two, I think. And I was always kind of like pushing it away, no. But then this time I went and found myself at a church called Free Chapel, Irvine, and the pastor by the name of Craig Darby just spoke life into me, and I had an encounter with God that day. The message was all about just how God is something that can never be taken away from you and will never leave you, no matter what you do, no matter where you've been. And that was the first thing of hope I've heard like my whole life. And I've heard about like God and stuff like that, but this is the first time it hit home to me in a place of brokenness, in a place of hopelessness. And ever since then, nothing's been the same since then. I wrote my first spoken word around the time I got saved. And it's actually called Shackles. And what's really meaningful for me about this piece is that it just kind of starts this whole journey for me, my faith journey. And there's a line in there that says, I'm thinking I need Jesus, but what does it take to reach him? And that's kind of where I was at. I was so confused, I was so hopeless, I was needing hope that it was just like a sense of desperation for me. About a year ago, I met Scott Triglaff, and I showed him some of my work and he liked it. And we just kind of started talking, and next thing I knew it, we were making an album. And Scott and I, we really work in an interesting way. What would happen is we kind of get in a room together, we kind of talk about ideas, and after we nail down a concept, I would be like, okay, what instruments are going to be used to achieve this concept? Like, what's going to make this feel, this vibe that someone's going to listen to this with? And I said, okay, and he kind of talked about it with me, and then I'd start writing to it after that. And, after a few revisions and a few drafts, we would have the record. And, the whole time it was all like a process. So the whole process was really great. Scott's a great guy. And, the record came out how it did just because of our work and our attitude toward it and our process, our really good album process that we had. One of my favorite songs on this whole record is called Get Back Up. And the message for this song really talks about how, like I said before, the moralistic view of ourselves where we think we have to have it all together and change this about ourselves and do this, when in reality we're all broken and we're all gonna fall. And this song really just talks about how we have the strength in us to get back up through Jesus Christ and his power, his resurrection, his grace. And I wrote it with Alex Ortiz. Alex and I wrote this song together, really believing that God gives us the strength to get back up from where we're at, no matter how broken we are, no matter how contrite. And that really just fed into this whole concept, this umbrella, like I said, of broken glass. And throughout the whole album process, I felt really convicted. It really grew my faith in knowing that I really am broken. And just all these songs, all 11 songs really just fall under the umbrella of just the broken glass. That we're all broken, that we all need a savior, that we all need something higher than who we are. And, I think it's really comforting to know that, okay, I don't have it all together. Jesus, you can take my life and you can take me as I am. Looking ahead, I hope to impact people through my music, through my story. And I really appreciate your prayers. I really appreciate all the prayers that are coming my way. And I just thank you so much. Me and Scott are going to be hard at work in the future. And we're just really excited for what the future holds. But yeah, thank you for coming on this journey with me. It's been really 9 months all leading up to this day. And, here we go. Broken glass. Looking at the past, see it in the rear view. Now block out all the lies, see glory in clear view. Moving on from the moment I'm failing forward, facing towards the voice of Jesus and His promises, I'm fighting for it. In His name I will pray, I will stand on my knees. No weapon formed against me will ever make me bleed. I surrender and trust, and now I render His arms. I'm forgiven, He's given me a new start.